God's timing is a mystery that often challenges our understanding. Yet it is one of the most beautiful expressions of His divine wisdom. Before you ever meet your soulmate, God has already been at work orchestrating circumstances, weaving experiences, and guiding your path in ways that are unseen and often unrecognized. Life is rarely linear, and the moments that feel like delays or detours are often purposeful steps in the preparation of your heart and soul. Every trial, every season of waiting, every period of loneliness carries a hidden lesson, a divine shaping that readies you for the person He has planned for you. We often measure our lives by the clock, by calendars and deadlines, hoping that love and fulfillment will arrive according to our own schedule. Yet God moves beyond human timelines. There is a profound beauty in learning to wait, in trusting that He knows not just who is right for you, but also the exact moment when the meeting should occur. When God introduces a soulmate, it is never premature. It is never a coincidence. It is the culmination of a process in which both hearts have been nurtured, refined, and strengthened in ways that cannot be rushed. Sometimes the preparation comes through experiences that challenge our patience, testing our faith and our ability to remain steadfast in hope. These seasons can feel long and uncomfortable, and yet they are the very spaces in which growth occurs. God's timing ensures that when your paths finally cross, there is a readiness to recognize and cherish the connection, a maturity that allows love to flourish in depth and resilience rather than in fleeting attraction or convenience. It is in the waiting that wisdom is cultivated, discernment is sharpened, and the understanding of what true love entails becomes clear. The meeting with your soulmate is not simply an encounter. It is the divine unfolding of a story that has been written long before your conscious mind could comprehend it. You may encounter relationships that seem promising or are not aligned with God's plan, teaching you lessons about boundaries, values, and the importance of aligning your heart with His will. Each of these experiences contributes to the timing of the true meeting, ensuring that both souls are in alignment with purpose and readiness. Trusting God's timing requires patience, faith, and an openness to the journey He sets before you. It is a surrender to the understanding that life unfolds in the rhythm of divine orchestration, where every encounter, every delay, and every twist in the path is intentional. There is an elegance in recognizing that love is not merely about finding someone to fill a void, but about meeting the person with whom your journey is divinely synchronized. God's timing also teaches you to value the growth that occurs in solitude, the refinement that happens when your heart is shaped by experiences, prayer, and reflection. Each season of waiting prepares you to receive love in a way that is wholehearted, enduring, and spiritually enriching, allowing you to enter into a relationship not out of desperation or haste, but from a place of maturity and understanding. The meeting with your soulmate, guided by God, will come at a time when both of you have been prepared to meet, not only to love, but to grow together, to support each other's faith, and to walk a shared path that reflects the divine wisdom of the Creator. If you want, I can now expand Keynote 2 in the same style to 600 dots of words so your script can continue smoothly. Do you want me to do that next? Before two souls are brought together, God works quietly and intentionally within each heart, preparing it for the sacred encounter. The preparation is not merely about circumstances or timing, it is about inner transformation. God knows that a soulmate is not simply someone to fill a void or satisfy a fleeting desire, but a companion whose presence will shape and complement the journey of the soul. Therefore, he begins his work within, cultivating patience, humility and wisdom, often through experiences that may feel challenging, confusing, or even painful. Every trial, every disappointment, every moment of solitude is an instrument through which the heart is refined and attuned to divine love. During this preparation, God teaches lessons that cannot be learned overnight. He teaches the heart to recognize the value of integrity, the importance of empathy, and the strength of resilience. He encourages self-reflection and spiritual growth, guiding each person to understand themselves more deeply, to know their worth, and to discern what is essential in a relationship. The heart must be ready to give and receive love in a way that aligns with God's purpose, and this readiness cannot be rushed. God also teaches the importance of letting go of attachments that are misaligned with His plan. Sometimes the preparation involves releasing relationships, habits, or mindsets that would hinder the meeting with a soulmate. This process is not easy because it requires trust in the unseen, patience in waiting, and faith that every experience is purposeful. It is in these moments of surrender that the heart becomes fertile ground for love that is enduring and spiritually nourishing. The preparation of the heart also involves deepening one's connection with God, because a relationship rooted in divine guidance is stronger and more resilient. Prayer, reflection, and meditation become tools through which the soul aligns with God's will, learning to discern true love from mere infatuation or convenience. God prepares both individuals not only to recognize each other when the time comes, but to engage in a relationship that reflects spiritual harmony, mutual respect, and shared purpose. This preparation may manifest through the development of virtues such as patience, forgiveness, and compassion, which become essential in sustaining a meaningful relationship. Moreover, God cultivates a sense of gratitude within the heart, teaching individuals to appreciate the blessings and lessons of life, rather than rushing into relationships out of loneliness or fear. By preparing the heart, God ensures that when the soulmate encounter occurs, both individuals can enter the relationship with clarity, intentionality, and a deep awareness of the sacredness of the bond. Love, in this divine context, is not about possession or fleeting desire, but about mutual growth, spiritual enrichment, and shared purpose. The soul is nurtured to recognize a partner not only for who they are in the present, but for the potential they hold together in a journey guided by faith. God's preparation also instills discernment, helping each person to identify what truly matters in a relationship, the alignment of values, the support of each other's spiritual paths, and the ability to weather life's challenges together. Through this preparation, God ensures that love becomes a reflection of His wisdom, a connection that is steadfast, purposeful, and deeply fulfilling. God often communicates through subtle signs and gentle nudges, guiding our hearts and paths toward the person He has chosen as our soulmate. These signs are rarely dramatic or overwhelming. Rather, they are quiet, persistent whispers that invite us to pay attention and trust His direction. Life has a way of presenting situations, encounters, and coincidences that seem ordinary on the surface but carry profound meaning when seen through the lens of divine guidance. Often, these signs appear in the form of intuitive feelings, recurring thoughts, or unexpected encounters that draw our attention to someone or something we might have otherwise overlooked. God's guidance is designed not to control or force the outcome, but to open our awareness and lead us gently toward what is aligned with His plan. At times, the signs may be found in prayer as moments of clarity or sudden understanding illuminate our hearts. We may feel an inexplicable peace or certainty when considering a person or a path, a reassurance that we are moving in the direction He intends. Other signs may manifest through circumstances that seem coincidental but are deeply meaningful. A chance meeting, a conversation that resonates profoundly, or the convergence of timing and opportunity can all be divine markers pointing toward a soulmate connection. God also uses challenges and obstacles as part of His guidance, teaching patience, discernment, and reliance on faith. Sometimes, what appears to be a closed door or a delay is actually a sign that the timing is not yet right, or that deeper preparation is needed before two souls are brought together. By paying attention to these subtle signals, we cultivate an awareness that allows us to navigate relationships with intentionality and spiritual insight. Divine guidance is also present in the people around us. Friends, family, mentors, or even strangers, whose words or actions may offer direction, encouragement, or caution. God often works through others to convey wisdom, drawing our attention to the qualities, values, or situations that align with His plan for our hearts. Learning to recognize these signs requires attunement, prayer, and a willingness to listen deeply to God's voice, rather than solely relying on our own desires or logic. It is a practice of discernment, understanding that true love is not merely about attraction or convenience, but about divine alignment. The signs may not always be obvious or immediate, and at times they require patience and reflection to understand fully. God's guidance is a form of spiritual choreography, orchestrating events and experiences in a way that allows both individuals to be prepared, receptive, and aligned when they finally meet. It is also a reminder that meeting a soulmate is not about luck or coincidence, but about divine intention, a purposeful unfolding that reflects God's wisdom and care. By learning to trust and follow these signs, we allow ourselves to engage in relationships with clarity and openness, recognizing that the journey toward a soulmate is as much about personal growth and spiritual readiness as it is about the encounter itself. God's guidance encourages us to move with faith, to remain attentive to the subtle directions that He places before us, and to trust that every step, every encounter, every feeling, every nudge is part of a larger plan leading us toward the person He has prepared for us. Meeting your soulmate is never about rushing or forcing circumstances. It is about aligning your heart with God's will and inviting Him to guide every step of your journey. Prayer is the channel through which this alignment occurs, a sacred dialogue that connects your desires with the divine plan. When you pray with sincerity, You are not merely asking for a person to enter your life, but are expressing a willingness to receive God's guidance, trusting that He knows what is best for you. Surrender is an essential companion to prayer. It is the act of releasing control over the timing, the details, and even the identity of the person you hope to meet. In surrender, you acknowledge that your understanding is limited while God's wisdom is infinite. By letting go of the urge to orchestrate the meeting according to your own expectations, you make space for His perfect plan to unfold. Often, the most profound encounters occur when we have stopped striving and started trusting. God's ways are subtle yet purposeful. And when you surrender, you allow Him to act in ways that are beyond what you could imagine. This surrender is not passive, it is an active trust, a decision to remain open and patient while continuing to grow spiritually, emotionally, and personally. Through prayer, you cultivate clarity and discernment, learning to recognize what is aligned with God's will versus what stems from fleeting desire or insecurity. Prayer teaches the heart to wait with hope rather than anxiety, to listen with attentiveness rather than distraction, and to remain grounded in faith even when the path seems unclear. In the context of meeting a soulmate, prayer becomes a tool for preparing your heart to receive love in its truest form. It helps you to understand the qualities that matter most, the values that should guide a relationship, and the ways in which two lives can harmoniously support each other's spiritual and personal growth. Surrender, paired with prayer, also liberates you from the fear of being alone, the worry of missing opportunities, or the temptation to settle for less than what God intends. It allows you to experience each moment fully, trusting that every season, every encounter, and every challenge is part of a divine plan that leads to the right person at the right time. When you embrace prayer and surrender, you are not waiting passively, but actively participating in a process of divine preparation. You are aligning your desires with a higher purpose, inviting God to orchestrate the encounter in a way that will be meaningful, transformative, and lasting. This approach fosters patience, gratitude, and a sense of peace, knowing that the meeting with your soulmate is guided by a wisdom far greater than your own. As you continue to pray and surrender, you cultivate the ability to recognize love when it arrives. Not as a sudden rush of emotion or attraction, but as a profound, God-centered connection that resonates with your soul. Prayer and surrender ensure that the encounter is not only timely, but spiritually harmonious, allowing both individuals to enter into a relationship that reflects divine guidance, mutual respect, and shared purpose. By entrusting your longing for companionship to God and remaining open to His will, you create the conditions for a love that is not only beautiful but sacred, rooted in faith, patience, and the quiet assurance that every detail of the meeting is orchestrated according to His divine plan. Recognizing true love is not about fleeting emotions or the allure of physical attraction. It is about perceiving a connection that resonates deeply with the soul, a bond that reflects God's divine intention. True love is spiritual at its core, and God prepares both hearts to recognize it when it arrives. The moment you encounter your soulmate, there is often a quiet, unspoken awareness, a sense of familiarity that transcends logic or explanation. It is as if your soul remembers a journey that your conscious mind has yet to fully understand. This recognition is rooted in spiritual depth, the kind that allows you to see beyond superficial qualities and appreciate the virtues, character, and intentions of the other person. God teaches you to discern love not by what is flashy or immediately gratifying, but by what nurtures growth, encourages faith, and inspires the best in both individuals. When you meet someone who is aligned with your spiritual journey, there is a sense of peace and authenticity, a resonance that speaks to the inner workings of your heart. True love is also characterized by mutual respect, understanding, and the shared pursuit of purpose. God instills in your heart the ability to see these qualities, to recognize the alignment of values, and to appreciate the ways in which your lives can complement one another. Spiritual depth allows you to notice subtleties that might otherwise go unnoticed. The kindness in their actions, the consistency in their words, the sincerity of their intentions. It teaches you to value integrity and faithfulness above superficial charm or temporary excitement. God prepares you to recognize this depth by shaping your own heart, guiding you to understand what is meaningful, enduring, and aligned with His will. In doing so, He ensures that the love you experience is not merely romantic, but transformational, capable of sustaining both individuals through challenges, growth, and the unfolding of shared life experiences. Recognizing true love also involves discernment, the ability to distinguish between temporary infatuation and a connection that is divinely intended. This discernment is cultivated through prayer, reflection, and spiritual awareness, allowing you to approach relationships with clarity rather than impulsiveness. God prepares you to identify qualities that matter: compassion, humility, loyalty, and a shared commitment to growth and faith. When these qualities are present, the meeting with a soulmate is accompanied by an unmistakable sense of recognition and inner knowing that the connection is meaningful and sacred. True love is also rooted in the capacity to support and uplift one another spiritually, emotionally, and personally. It is a partnership in which both individuals encourage the best in each other, helping each other grow closer to God and fulfill their shared purpose. This spiritual resonance is the hallmark of a soulmate connection, and it is what allows love to endure beyond superficial attraction or transient circumstances. God's guidance ensures that when you encounter this love, you are able to recognize it with clarity and gratitude, understanding that it is part of a larger plan that encompasses both personal growth and divine intention. Spiritual depth allows you to enter the relationship not merely as a seeker of companionship, but as a prepared, aware individual capable of engaging in a love that is rich, enduring, and sacred. It teaches you patience, discernment, and the ability to value what is eternal over what is temporary. In recognizing true love, you come to understand that the connection is not just about meeting someone to share life with, but about encountering a soul whose journey has been intertwined with yours by divine design, reflecting God's wisdom, care, and perfect timing. God introduces soulmates in a way that encourages patience, teaching that love is a journey rather than a destination. True love requires waiting, not out of necessity, but out of divine timing, allowing both individuals to mature and prepare for the sacred bond they are about to share. Patience is not simply about enduring the wait. It is about trusting that every season of life, every challenge, and every experience is a deliberate part of God's preparation. While waiting, hearts are refined, perspectives are broadened, and understanding of what constitutes meaningful connection deepens. This patience fosters emotional maturity and spiritual clarity, equipping both individuals to engage in a relationship that reflects the fullness of God's intention. Gratitude is another essential aspect of this divine introduction. Recognizing the blessings of life, the lessons in solitude, and the growth achieved through challenges cultivates an attitude of thankfulness that enriches the relationship when the meeting occurs. Gratitude allows both individuals to appreciate one another fully, not merely as a source of companionship, but as a reflection of God's wisdom and providence. It shapes the heart to value the qualities that matter: kindness, loyalty, integrity, and shared faith, while fostering a deep respect for the journey that each has undergone to reach this point. Growth together is perhaps the most profound outcome of a God-centered introduction to a soulmate. When two individuals meet under divine guidance, the connection is designed to be transformative, encouraging both partners to support, challenge, and nurture each other in ways that promote spiritual, emotional, and personal development. Love becomes a shared path of discovery, reflection, and mutual encouragement. God's intention in this introduction is not merely to create comfort or companionship, but to establish a partnership that reflects His wisdom, enabling both individuals to grow into the fullness of their potential together. The relationship becomes a sacred space where faith, purpose, and mutual respect converge, guiding each individual to live in alignment with divine principles. Patience, gratitude, and growth together are intertwined. The waiting period cultivates patience, allowing hearts to develop wisdom and understanding. Gratitude emerges from reflection on the journey, the lessons learned, and the preparation experienced along the way. Growth together becomes the natural outcome of a relationship founded on these virtues, allowing love to flourish in depth, stability, and purpose. In such a relationship, challenges are not merely obstacles, but opportunities for both individuals to deepen their commitment, strengthen their understanding, and enhance their spiritual and emotional resilience. Each moment, each interaction becomes a reflection of God's guidance, a reminder that the connection is not random, but intentional, designed to bring forth the best in both partners. By embracing patience, one learns to trust God's timing fully, understanding that premature encounters often lack the depth and stability necessary for lasting love. Through gratitude, hearts are softened, appreciation is deepened, and the capacity to love unconditionally is strengthened. Growth together allows the relationship to evolve beyond superficial attraction, creating a bond that is resilient, meaningful, and spiritually enriching. This stride, patience, gratitude, and growth is the essence of a God-centered introduction to a soulmate, ensuring that the connection is enduring, harmonious, and reflective of divine wisdom. It prepares both individuals not only to cherish one another, but to engage in a partnership that nurtures faith, purpose, and a shared journey toward becoming the fullest version of themselves. Every encounter, every moment of reflection. And every season of preparation contributes to this sacred dynamic, allowing love to blossom with maturity, intention, and divine guidance